Welcome to another episode of TheIntroEntre. I'm your host BJ, and it is my duty to try and change a entrepreneur into an entrepreneur. And the way I do that is I interview cool people like Chelsea. So what's up, Chelsea? Thanks for jumping on the podcast, man. Appreciate you being here.
What's up? No problem. It's my pleasure.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Well, I I gotta shout my homie up for linking us together, man. So shout out to I'm gonna say C's. I know you ain't gonna say C's, but I'm gonna say C's for doing this for me,
Yeah.
man. That's a
Shout out to him.
that's a solid brother, man. I'm telling you, that's my dog, man.
Very good. Very good person.
Very, very, very great heart,
Mhm.
man. Love that guy, man. So tell me, let's jump into these questions.
Okay.
It's 9 o'clock at night. I don't want to keep you up too late, so I want to. So tell me about your brand, Rarewear, right?
Mhm.
When did it start, and how did it start?
Okay. So Rarewear started in 2016 as just an idea. I made a Twitter post and I had first came up with the slogan, "Be you, stay dope, become rare."
Mm.
And so that was just my start. And from there, people started like asking me like, "What does it mean? What does it mean?" But at the time, I only had those things: the thought of rareware, and then
Mm.
those that be you, stay dope, become rare. So I started drawing out like logos because I knew I wanted to have like a logo brand. I didn't know what type of brand at the
Yeah.
start what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to like limit it to just clothes. So I started like just drafting my own little like R's and W's, bubble letters, like basically, taking it back to doodling really.
Ooh, back
Um,
back to third grade.
and I have to shout out this person. His name is Marcus Garrison. He is the owner of Forever United. If you want some dope gear, check him out. He is the person that first created my logo for me. He took some of my ideas and we came up with my logo. The shirt I have on now is the newest rebrand of it.
Ah,
So it's
I
it's
like that.
not the original one, but this is the current one. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I knew that I wanted to do something with clothing because I love fashion, I love shoes, I'm a sneaker collector. So yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Well, that's dope. So you say you a sneaker collector. You at the Jordan shows. You over there, y'all
I've
trading shoes and
never
stuff.
I've never been to a sneaker con. Everyone I tried to go to at the time before it became all this hype beast
Yeah.
era, it was so hard to get into. But now it's pretty much you just buy your ticket, you can go. Some of them are even free. But I haven't been to one. But I've been collecting since I was in junior high. So I just love
Mm,
shoes. And not just Jordans, but Nikes, Adidas, New
yeah.
Balance. I just like shoes.
I'm a shoe head myself.
Okay.
I got into a lot of trouble behind my shoes, man. I was working for a shoe company in the
Mm-hmm.
mall, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but this was before you know I guess loss prevention and stuff like that, man. But
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is years ago.
The good days,
Like
the
they
good
can't, yeah,
days.
they can't come and get me for what I'm about to say no more. So, but yeah, back in the day, man, like I used to have the hookup around the mall for everything, and we used to be
Yeah.
able to, kind of finagle the cash register whenever we wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
man. So every new release, like they would limit the amount of employees could get a release shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So I would hire or get somebody to come through the mall, stand like they really didn't have to stand in line because I was working, but they would
Yeah.
come in and I would keep that shoe to the side, like,
Yeah.
and they would walk out with probably two pair of shoes. They would buy them, don't they would buy
Mm-hmm.
them, but they would have my pair
Yeah.
and their pair, and I mean I
Mm-hmm.
stacked my closet up pretty good, pretty
Yeah.
good. And see, I'm the type I don't wear my shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wear my Jordans for sure. I don't wear none of my retros, but I had them in the closet for at least 10 years, at
Yeah.
least. And they go for
The
they
only
go for a
thing is
pretty
like,
penny.
yeah, so the only thing like being in the military, I'm in uniform every day, so I don't
Yeah,
get to wear my shoes a lot. So some of my favorites that I've had for years, they begin to crumble or break apart because
yeah,
they're old.
yeah.
And if you don't wear them, they
They
do
yeah.
will just break. So I don't know. That's the only drawback. But I try to wear them as much as I can on the weekends or during the week after work.
Yeah.
I gotta wear them so they could last, so I could pass them down to my daughter.
I went through this phone positive stage, and I probably got a
Okay.
pair in the closet now. But they just like they feel so good on your feet, man.
Home
But
posits they're
listen,
nice. That's
listen.
why they call them dopes.
I had to sneak them in the house though. So I I remember one day my wife goes in my closet because I got a duck off closet, right?
Hmm.
She opens the door and she said, "This is ridiculous." She said, "I don't. You don't even know. You don't wear shoes because I don't wear my shoes. I got like
Yeah.
probably three pairs like Nikes. I might just throw on my feet, but like
Hmm.
it's an addiction almost, man.
Right. It is. It is.
I buy a
My
new
New
pair of
Year's
shoes.
resolution, one of them will be to only buy those shoes that I didn't get a chance to get, like mostly retros. I'm not gonna get every release. I'm gonna give myself some discipline.
Look at my
That's
face.
the goal.
Look at my
I
face.
know, right?
Look
It
at
sounds good. That's how it is.
because I know, I already know. I say this probably every year. It didn't really resonate until I started having my kids, man. But I
Mhm.
used to say, hey, man, I ain't buying no shoes this year.
Yeah,
End up with three pair of shoes by the end of January. See, so
exactly,
it's
exactly.
crazy, man. So, do you? Let me, so, I want to inspire entrepreneurs to turn into entrepreneurs, right?
Hmm.
And a entrepreneur is somebody who has the idea,
Hmm.
who sees the vision of what they want to do, but they haven't implemented any of the steps yet. They still thinking about it.
Right.
They still going through things in their mind. They might be jotting stuff down to get the details, but they haven't implemented what their business is as of yet. So
Hmm.
people go through years of being entrepreneurs before they actually hit the go button. How long were you a entrepreneur before you turned into an entrepreneur?
So I would say honestly, it was about a year and a half before I actually got my first um production of my gear.
Mhm.
But during that process I was working though. I just wasn't able to put anything out at the time. I started everything with $150 actually. I
Mm,
didn't start with an LLC or nothing like that. I literally just started with the money to get my logo. And then from there, the guy that I was shouting out earlier, the owner of Forever United, he also printed my first shirts.
mm,
And honestly, it was 20 shirts, I believe. And I think I gave away 10 of them. So I didn't even profit anything from it because I was just trying to put myself out there,
mm-hmm.
you know, see what people thought and just go from there. I was literally just mailing things off to people that I knew would wear it. Um I guess I think the thing that when you're an entrepreneur, a lot of things that people are scared about is one, they feel like they don't have enough money to start.
Yeah,
Two, they're worried about what happens if they fail. And three, they're looking for that support from
yeah,
people that they know.
yeah.
And those are all like
Wrong.
key things that are not going to get you there. You're never going
Exactly.
to start because at the end of the day, you're once you start, you'll see that your support mostly comes from people you don't know.
Don't know.
And so that's one of the things that was hard for me at first because I'm one of those people that I always sow seeds into
Yeah,
everything that everyone is doing that I have any type of connection with.
yeah.
And so being that kind-hearted person that I am, I had to learn that like people won't be you to you. So
Exactly.
I had that was one of my biggest struggles was just getting over that hump. And once I realized that, I'd never look back. So
It's crazy. I read a lot of these entrepreneur or business books, and they always say, start with your friends and your family, and
mhm,
tell them the idea and yada yada yada. But I hate to say it, but a lot of your friends and family, they don't get the vision.
they
They
don't.
they don't get the vision, and you can't fault them for that. A lot of my friends and family, when I went to them and told them what I wanted to do, they oh yeah, great, I think you could do it, but they don't really understand what it's going to take, or
Mhm,
they probably don't even believe I can do it in the first place, just because they
mhm,
don't have any experience in that. And a
mhm,
lot of times you can really kill a dream, man, by telling it to a small-minded person, man. That's not my quote. I wish
mhm.
it was. That's somebody else's quote. But
Yeah.
you can discourage yourself to not even
Mhm,
start before you even want to start by telling it to somebody who doesn't, have any inkling of what business is, man. So,
Right.
you know, I understand what the books say, but
Mm-hmm.
honestly, you should not, rely on the answers of anybody.
Yeah.
If you really have a passion for anything you want to do, man, do it. Do it. Don't rely on nobody to persuade you left
Yeah.
or right. So
I say that's probably the best advice you can give anyone that's starting out is just go for it.
yeah,
Like, don't wait until you feel like you have enough people behind you. Just
yeah.
start and then see where you end, where you land, you know?
And you don't even need that piece of paper say that
Nope.
LLC. You
No,
don't
I,
need
I
that to start.
just I just got my LLC in 2020. So that was
Exa-
4 years of
it
me
does
not
of
having it.
grinding, still
Yep.
doing it.
Yeah.
But now you're legal. Now we cool.
Yeah.
Now we Uncle Sam ain't coming to get us no more. So.
Right. Exactly. Right.
So what year did the business start?
2016.
So 16. What? So I'm gonna take you back to 2016.
Hmm.
What did you think entrepreneurship meant then, and has your definition changed today?
Yes. So then I just had this whole, like, I would just say fantasy idea of like you start your business and you're rich tomorrow.
Ah, yeah,
Like it was almost like if you say you're an entrepreneur, you're rich, you know, and that's not how it is.
no,
It's definitely a grind. It's one of the hardest jobs you can have, and I say job because it is a job. Because when you're an
yes,
entrepreneur, and say like you don't have another job, like another 9 to 5 or something, you are working 24 hours a day. Because if you're not working, then you're not going to be able to do anything with your business. So that's something that I learned along the way, and that eventually I want to be just only doing what I want to do for my brand.
mm,
I love my career in the Navy, but that's not my end goal. And so one day I want to be able to make my brand my 9 to 5,
yeah,
which is really going to be a 24/7 because you got to always stay working when you're in business for yourself. So I would say the change would be you don't get rich overnight. And how I see it now is you're working all day, 24/7.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
if you're not physically doing something, you're mentally like
Yes,
brainstorming, like what's my next item I'm gonna, put out. Where else do I want to see my business
yeah,
grow to? Because one thing about it, you can start out like me. I knew I wanted to do clothing, but I also want to take my brand to like trucking because I want to
mm,
like the logistical thing as well. So yeah, I mean, you can start out one way and then you notice as you go along, you expand, and you got to give yourself room to grow
yeah,
and
yeah.
know, that growth doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to be rich tomorrow. So
As much as you want to be rich tomorrow,
yeah,
it's just not going to work out like that because you
no.
got lessons to learn along the way.
Hmm.
I don't care. The richest person can start a business and it not pan out just like they think that it's going to because they didn't think of all the processes.
Hmm.
Especially when you're starting off by yourself, you're
Hmm.
doing the marketing, you uploading all the videos, you shipping out all the product. You gotta do something every day dealing
Yeah.
with your business, man, and that's time consuming,
Yes.
especially. Oh man, listen. First of all, shipmate. I did 6 years in the Navy, man.
Yeah.
So I understand the demanding schedule, and
Hmm.
I did it, as a single person with no kids, and I understand the demanding schedule that the
Yeah.
military, makes you have. Like you have no
Hmm.
choice on a lot of things. So kudos and hats off to you for that. And thank you for serving as
Oh,
well.
yeah. My pleasure.
But you juggling this, you juggling your family life, and you juggling a business. When do you sleep? Is the question. Like when
Yeah.
when do you get a break?
So your break comes after you get the kid in bed and you have
Yeah,
those hours to unwind, like right now.
you're like right now.
These are the times where I'm brainstorming, where I'm catching up on whatever it is I needed to do throughout the day.
Yep.
It's all about time management though. And so you can't, and if you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have time, you have to make time.
Have to.
Even if it's just 30 minutes that you sow into yourself a day, you need to have that time to self-reflect and do what it is that you need to do for yourself at the same time. Even though you may have all these other obligations to someone else, you may, everyone's a sister, you could be a mom, a wife, whatever the case is, you still have to take time for yourself. And if in that time you want to work, you have a business, that's the time to work on it. I feel like people use time as an excuse too, like, oh, I don't have the time, but the time you spend scrolling on your phone, on TikTok, or whatever the latest coolest app is, you could be putting into your ideas for what you want to do. So there's always time,
Always time. There's always time.
So,
Like, I'll spend time. I'll go to the movies and we'll be watching the movie, and if I get an idea, like I'm pulling my phone out. Like, if I show you my notes in my phone, I don't know where my phone is, but you can scroll down probably for a good 500 pages, and it's just notes on stuff that just is in my mind, and I have to get it out. It's something that I can plug into. Hopefully I can plug into a business and and get the idea rolling. But my mind does not shut off. And that's the life of an entrepreneur, man. That's the life of a business owner, man. I don't know anybody whose mind shuts off at 5:00 p.m. Like, you have things to do, and after you do those things, you might have some family things to do. But after those family things to do, you still understand that I have to put in work to my business for it to grow. So one day I can hire an assistant and take this off my plate, or I can hire this person so I don't have to do it full time, and I can kind of just not work on that aspect of my business. So it's you have to understand where your strong suits are, and you have to understand that everything's temporary. You can put in 100 hours of your business until it gets to a certain point, and then you might be able to hire somebody. So there's always a silver lining, hopefully down the road, man, if you stick with it long enough. So Rarewear, where did the name come from? Would you say the name came from? Rarewear. And I know my mouth looks funny when I say it, but it's a tongue twister.
Honestly, Rarewear is just like, I always felt like I was unique, because I would not do things that everyone else did. Or say your group of people that you may be around, they may all like one thing, and then I'm the person that doesn't. I love to read. A lot of people didn't like to read. I was always unique, so I just took that idea to be like, you know what, it's okay to be different. So I want everyone to be you, stay dope while you're doing it, and become rare. So I was like, oh, all right, so where? Okay, that's like wearing it, and then I want to be rare, so I just put it together, and from there, that's how I came up.
That's awesome, man. I wish I was that creative. Sometimes it'll take me forever. I'm trying to put things together, like, how did I come up with this name? But I'm not a big name person either. I want to come up with something that's like meaningful or has a story behind it. But at the same time, I'll allot myself maybe a full 24 hours to say, all right, this is what you're going to be thinking about for this 24 hours, and whatever the best name of this is going to be at the end of the 24 hours, then that's the name. Because I just don't have I can spend a year probably just on the name alone if I really wanted to. I just I gotta make sure I give myself a hard cutoff, and then move on to the next thing, because my mind never shuts off. It just never quits. Cause
I feel the same way. I'm always constantly thinking of something. You mentioned your notes. People think it's weird. And when I say people, I'm really speaking about one person. And when they watch this, they're gonna laugh at this, because they're like, why are your notes always what are you writing in your notes? So literally my thoughts, what's going on, ideas. That's probably one of the best things the iPhone has, is that note feature. So I'm so happy that you do the same thing.
Listen, it's not just us. We have unique minds, but like we share the similarities with other entrepreneurs because I talk to a lot of people and they say the same thing. They like
Yes.
they'll carry a notebook or
Mhm.
thank God for these phones, man, because
Yeah.
everybody carries a phone,
Mhm.
and they'll just jot stuff down.
Yeah.
Like I think I started doing that when uh, I think I was reading a book, and I don't want to quote the wrong book, but
Mhm.
they was like, hey, anytime an idea pops in your mind, write it down because you never know. Like that might be the idea to switch your whole way of thinking about
Right.
business or whatever you're doing. So
Mhm.
write it down, get it out,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
look back at your notes. That's one thing they say.
Yeah.
Look back at your notes
Mhm.
because I can go maybe a couple of weeks without looking at my notes after I write it
Right.
down. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has been, man. This has been a dope conversation so far, man. I really appreciate you jumping on here. Um, is are there any lessons? If you could narrow some of the lessons that you've learned down to two over your business journey, what would the two major, I guess, what would your two major lessons be?
The first one I mentioned already, and that's like don't look for support from people you know.
Yeah,
The second one would be it doesn't matter if you get one like, if you get 5 likes, if you get 10,000.
yeah,
Your content.
yeah,
Someone out there is gonna see it and one day could change your life
yeah,
forever. So that one like can take you astronomically higher than you ever thought you could be. So that's something I would say do. Like, don't worry about if you're getting likes. Don't worry about like, oh, I shouldn't post this. I just posted yesterday. It doesn't matter.
don't
Like
matter.
flood the content. And that's something I have to work on as well that I'm steadily evolving with. Cause I'm not, how can you say it? Like I'm not like a face forward person. Like I don't like to put my face out
On your
there.
brain,
I would
yeah,
like much rather just post my gear or whatever I have going on. But I've started to realize that you have to put a face with the brand.
yeah.
So I'm
People want to
working on
see
getting
you. Yeah,
right. I'm working on getting more comfortable doing that to the masses, not just
hmm
people that are maybe like in my circle or
yeah,
like small quantity of people. Like I need to do it publicly out in the open, which is one reason why I was really excited about doing this podcast. It's my first speaking on the brand, so I'm really excited about that. So this is kind of like the start of something I wrote in my notes that I wanted to do,
yeah,
and that was to be more face
yeah,
forward with
yeah.
my brand. So
And
yeah,
you're doing a
those are
great
two things
job,
I
by the
say.
way.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. I One of the reasons why I kind of started this podcast is I'm an introvert by nature, right? I don't
Yes.
talk to a million people. I can if I want to. If I walk in the room and I say I want to talk to everybody, I'm gonna talk to everybody. But that's just
Hmm.
how I set my mind. But just on an average day, I'm just an introvert. I like watching
Yeah.
people. I like listening to other people talk.
Hmm.
So one of the things that I knew I had to get over was like showing my face. Like
Hmm.
even if you look on like my IG or my Facebook, I barely post most of the time.
Hmm.
But doing something like this forces me to getting the habit of showing my face, getting the habit of
Hmm.
being comfortable enough to talk in front of people or talk on a camera, and it's
Hmm.
just practice.
Hmm.
Anything you want to do great at, you have to practice.
Right.
And this is the start of what I want my vision to be. This is all practice
Yeah.
leading up to something I don't even know, but I can
I
feel
can't
is
even
down the
see it
road.
yet. There
I
you go.
know it's there though.
Hmm.
Like with every bone in my body, I know it's there. So,
Hmm.
like, I have to put in the work. I have to put
Yeah.
in the repetitions. I have to get comfortable. The only way I can do that is just you got to jump in. You have
Right.
to jump in, and that's just like business. I don't I don't know anybody day one who knows every aspect of how to run their business 100%.
Hmm.
Like you have to learn how to do something. Like you got to learn, what your percentages are, or how many times you have to post a day, or
Yep.
when you need to go to the post office to drop off these things so they can ship
Hmm.
and get there to the customer in the time that y'all discuss. Like you have to learn these. And how did you learn the aspects of running a business?
Um, So a lot of it I learned as I went.
Hmm.
I've always been a very organized person just by like my mother, how she raised me, because she was like she's OCD as can be,
Yeah,
kind of like passed that on to me. So like I'm very organized.
that's a
I
great
I write
quality.
things I write things down and I because if I don't I'll get mixed up. So I like to stay organized. Um as far as like with the shipping and stuff like that, I feel like I kind of just learned that honestly by like my dad worked at the post office for over 35 years up until he passed away, and
Hmm.
so I was able to learn and see like how you ship things and like the best ways to ship things and that whole like process as far as like they call what snail mail now
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
So um I learned that aspect kind of like just watching him, and then everything else I learned by bad experiences that I had buying things from other
Yeah.
brands, big companies, or whatever the case is. And so things that I felt like as a customer I didn't like, I was like, yeah, whenever I actually get everything running, I'm going to make sure I alleviate that part of it. One thing I hate, and it'll almost make me, I'm not going to say hate, that's a strong word. One thing I
Mm.
dislike is that when it'll almost make me cancel a whole order. I don't like paying for shipping. And I know it sounds crazy, like, oh, well, the person or brand that you're buying from is coming out of their pocket or take away from their profit margin or whatever the case is. But I feel like shipping is something that you owe. Free shipping is something, especially when you're talking about a small business, that you owe the customer for taking the time to take a chance on you. Because
Yeah,
after all, I mean,
yeah,
you're still up and coming. So it's like this person took a chance with you. So that's like a reward to me. And also because I don't like to pay for shipping. So I feel like that's something that you have to figure out when it comes to production of your whatever it is you're selling,
yeah.
whatever you're marketing. You need to account for shipping, in my opinion. Now if you're doing international shipping, that's a little different because obviously those things can become expensive, but as long as it's like local or like statewide US shipping, I feel like it should be free.
Yeah.
$10 priority mail can pretty much get you mail anywhere. So I feel like that's something you should account for when you are setting your price ranges and stuff like that. Um,
So that's almost the
where,
norm now because
yeah.
of these major companies like Amazon, who
Mm-hmm.
they almost like they preach free shipping. Like
Right. Exactly.
everybody is almost accustomed to free shipping.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is if you're a small business, you're getting killed by the shipping price.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it might be time to really kind of look at the prices of your product, and maybe
Right.
you might have to raise them because
Mm-hmm.
shipping can kill you.
Yes.
Shipping can kill a business quick.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be kind of creative on how you absorb that price. So
Right.
a lot of the new businesses, a lot of the new entrepreneurs need to, I know you want to set a certain price point for your product, but but you have to be realistic and you have to take
Mm-hmm.
everything into consideration. As much things as as many variables as you got to understand how that might affect your profit margin and your
Right.
bottom line.
Exactly.
So yeah, you hit it. You hit it on the head, man. You hit it on the head. So tell me how can people follow you? Like, first of all, tell me what's the best way to get some rare wear? Is it to hit you on IG or is it to like go to the website?
I honestly will say the best place to get me is to hit my IG. And that's where it rare underscore.
Mm.
So that's the best place. My DMs are open. You can comment on a picture or something like that, or just send me a message. I do have a website. I do find that people they don't really use it as much. They'll use it and
Yeah.
then still send you a message like, "Hey, I want this."
Can you say
Um, so
yeah?
like, but I keep it just because there are people that do utilize it. It's really preference of the personal shopper,
Yeah.
what they want to do. I think it makes a difference the age range of the person as well. What they use more. Some people find it easier just to, send a message on IG
Yeah.
versus actually clicking on your link. So So yeah, I mean, it just depends. But for me, I would say IG is the easiest and quickest way to
Yeah.
get a response from me and get you some gear.
So how do you market on other platforms? Because I have to ask that question because I'm terrible at that. I'm focusing on a lot of my 95% of my content is probably on IG, you know,
Um,
and then I hadn't even branched out to the other platforms yet.
so I do have a Facebook, but I have really never post my product on Facebook.
Yeah,
I really use Facebook just for family connections for those members
birthdays.
that live
Yeah,
out of state, things like that. My college classmates, and just really keeping in contact with those people that you know, but you may not talk to every day. But
yeah,
you know, you that's a way that if you need to reach out to someone, you can without having their personal number. I don't really give my personal number out to a lot of people. So say I haven't talked to you in 5 or 6 years and you look me up on Facebook, you can shoot me a message, and that's an easy way. So that's really what I use that for. But as far as my brand, I do feel like you should target like one specific platform and just like flood it.
yeah.
There is options to like post to multiple ones at one time, but again, I feel like whatever one is working for you and whatever one you're getting the most views or responses from, that's the one you should focus into. Because
Hmm.
like with anything, if you have your hands in too many baskets, they're never going to get full. So yeah, but also at the same time, if you're looking to like put yourself out there in every aspect, like every platform there is, it does have its advantages. Just know that some of them may gain you more hits than others,
Yeah.
but as long as you're okay with, maybe flooding a certain platform but not getting responses from it, and that doesn't mentally like, stop you or like make you, get a little down about your business, then I say do it. But if you're one of those people who, it's not easy for you to like stay focused, then I would say find one that works for you and just flood that one.
Yeah, that's probably my problem. You know, I
Yeah.
you know I have a hard time like staying focused. If I'm on IG today, I'll be on IG probably for like 3 days, and I won't
Mhm.
check Facebook at all.
You're right.
Or any other ones that I have. Like that's going to be my main focus until I binge
Mhm.
enough, and then I'll be like, oh, somebody's birthday popped up. Let me check.
Right.
So yeah, I need to do better. I know
Mhm.
I have to do better, but we in the practice stage.
Right.
I might be able to get away with it a little more now because
Right.
I am practicing. This is
Mhm.
repetition, repetition, repetition. We'll get better.
Right.
I'll do better. I promise. I
Right.
promise, man. So, man, it has been a pleasure having you on this podcast, man. Like I said in the beginning, I have to shout out Bay Homie C's for linking us together. You
Yeah.
know, I he is one of the exceptions. I know we said don't tell your friends and family, but as soon as he found out, he was like, "Hey, I got somebody for you, man." So,
Right.
and I love him for that, man. And
Yeah.
speaking of, if you know anybody, I'm not too proud to beg. So if you know
Mhm.
anybody who's an entrepreneur or a business owner and wouldn't mind jumping on the pod, man, shoot them a message. Let them know
I
about me.
really,
You know, I.
yeah.
I want to make sure everybody's comfortable. I want to make sure this people know this is a conversation. This is not just me
Right.
shooting off a bunch of questions and having you just answer. Like I want this to be a back and forth of conversation, man.
Right.
And you don't see that a lot of times when people are speaking about their business, man. So
Right.
I hope.
I really want to get you to get I really want you to get Forever United owner
Mm,
Marcus Garrison on here. Like I said, he started his brand pretty much out of high school, and
mm,
he was printing, screen printing his own, like everything, his own product. And then I've just watched him grow. He's been somebody that I personally know and that I have seen like really take off. And um I would love for him to get on here with you because he's way more knowledgeable than I, and
you're
there's
very knowledgeable yourself. You're very
thank you.
knowledgeable.
He's
I gotta big up the talk the intro the inner talk. You gotta
mhm.
it gotta be positive. So you are
Yeah.
very good at it yourself. You did not miss a beat tonight. I
But yeah, I'll definitely share this with him,
For
and
sure.
hopefully
Thank you.
you and him can work out a time. And I know he'd be more than happy to get on here and speak with you. So yeah,
Well,
I'll
thank
definitely put.
you, thank you,
Hmm.
thank you. Put the word in, for me, and give me, send me an alley, and I'll dunk it. I
All
promise.
right.
So, but yeah, this has been another great episode with Chelsea. I want everybody who's listening to this, jump on her webpage. Go to rarewear.com, right?
It's wearitRare.com.
And
Oh, that's
look,
my Instagram. And then if you want to shop, it's getitrare.com.
is Get It Rare. And there's a link in the bio because I went on there today. There's a link in the bio to send you straight to the
Mhm.
shop, right?
Yep,
All right.
correct.
So click the link in the bio, go to her shop, look at everything she has on the page, and buy something, man. This is Christmas. Let's make sure we giving people some good gear. I see a hoodie on there. Uh, I see some workout gear, right?
Some
Some
beanies. Yep.
beanies.
And I don't even have this on there yet, actually.
Mm.
But this is my latest one. It's the puff print. There's a front and back logo, but those are posted on my IG. So
Hit her up on IG. Get one of these sweaters, man. Support a small business. Support a veteran, woman-owned black business,
yeah,
y'all. Okay,
thank you.
let's make it happen, man. Man, I appreciate you jumping on again. Thank you. This has been another episode of the TheIntroEntre podcast. Thanks.
Thank you.